All right, complex number conjugates. Okay. Where'd it go? There you go. All right. So that's a big word, a new word, conjugate. It's basically sort of means opposite. Okay. Now that's not exactly true, but sort of true. Okay. So and then also complex number means that we have a imaginary number somewhere in that number. Now something that we have not been talking about is how to write imaginary numbers. Sometimes you might have write like, let's say 5i, which would be 5 times I, plus 1. That's actually kind of the incorrect way to write that. What you want to do is flip it. You want to have the I in the back, so it would be 1 plus 5i. Okay? So that's how you should be writing complex numbers or imaginary numbers. And then one more thing we're going to talk about is how to graph these on a coordinate grid. That's going to come up in this assignment. A conjugate, just so since we're talking about right now, a conjugate of this number, all you do is you take the second number here, the imaginary number, and you flip the sign. So this would be 1 minus 5i. So the conjugate of 1 plus 5i will be 1 minus 5i. And we'll talk about why that's important in a second, or actually for dividing complex numbers, why that's important. So right now I just want to be able to identify conjugate numbers or complex conjugates, and then the next assignment we're going to be using the conjugate to solve some problems. Let's see how I get out of here. There we go. Okay, so complex number conjugate, once again. Here is our number that we want the conjugate of. It is currently written correctly, okay? We have our imaginary number, second. It is not first, okay? And then we want to do is take our second sign, which is a positive sign here. Erase some of the stuff, get that out of the way. And just change the sign. So the conjugate of negative 8 plus 2i is negative 8 minus 2i. That's it. Okay? It is not that hard. The hard part is understanding that conjugate means two things. One, our I is in the back, and two, you need to flip the sign. So negative 8 minus 2i. Oops, I typed it wrong. I did 21. There we go. Okay, so now here is a graph. I actually just did this one, and I did it wrong because I misread the graph. So I rewound the video, and I'm starting fresh again. So this green dot down here is actually the one I made a mistake on. I'm not sure if I get that. Oh, I gotta drag that over. Okay, so here's a graph. We have not x and y, so this would be our x-axis, and this would be our y-axis. If you can see on both of these things, we have some letters. RE, which stands for real, and IM, which stands for imaginary. All right. So first thing we want to do is identify our Z1 point. And that's what I did wrong last time. I didn't identify it correctly. On our real axis, right over here, this one, the x-axis typically, we can see we are at negative 6. So our real number is negative 6, which goes first. We just talked about that this lesson. And then our imaginary axis, this vertical one, which is usually our y, goes to 5. I actually identified it as a 6. So that's 5i. Now, that's the coordinate of that point. The number would be 6 plus 5i, and we're looking for the conjugate of that. So remember, the conjugate is we flip the second sign. So we have negative 6 minus 5i. So negative 6 on the real axis is still back here. And we're going to go down to negative 5, which would be right there. So negative 6, negative 5. Right. So just got to find the number. Now this time, make sure you identify it is not written appropriately. We need to flip that. So it's 8 plus 3i. And now to find the conjugate of 8 plus 3i, we just take our second number and flip its sign. So 8 minus 3i. Let's try and get this one right. 8 minus 3i. All right. And just like the last one, it's not written correctly. So we need to flip the numbers. We have a positive 7 minus 2i. Now we need to take our second number to find the conjugate and flip its sign. 7 plus 2i is the answer this time. Okay, I actually want to try and find one more graphing question. Here we go, perfect. Okay. So, first thing we need to do is identify our number. It is right here. And on our real axis, that's the first number. The number is 3. And then going up to our imaginary number, this will have the I. We are at 5. So 5i is the coordinate point. It should be a line. I'm sorry, a parenthesis, not a line. So our coordinate point is 3 comma 5i. To write it as a complex number, it would be 3 plus 5i. And so the complex conjugate of that, we take our second number and flip its sign. So we get 3 minus 5i. And that as a coordinate point would be the parenthesis and a comma. So we're going to go to positive 3 and down 5. So 3, negative 5. All right, and I'm going to end this video here.